Man, this is what I'm saying. You see how fast y'all could have been in the. Woo, God, I thank you.
One of the reasons why motherhood and mothering is so exhausting is because of things like that what happened in that video. You will never know rest as a mother, ever. That video that I stitched is of a grandmother. They say it's a grandmother. She got 3 kids outside. They just, riding bikes like kids do. More country setting. But even me, being a city girl now, growing up in a more urban environment in the city, we had something similar like that. Like car, she called it car call, but it was a safety mechanism for us kids, like to watch each other, keep each other safe. When you see a car, you call for a car. And so like that was kind of the procedure as a child, growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, is that we watched each other, looked out for each other, kept each other safe through things like that car call. But one of the kids wasn't doing the car call. And so she came out, she's pissed because ultimately she's scared because she knows what could happen, the harm that that child could have to suffer if they were to be struck by a car. By not participating in the car call, that child could be injured, maimed, or dead. And in that specific video, that if one of them kids had got hit by those cars or that any of those police vehicles, they would be dead. And so in real time, you are seeing why the experience of mothering and raising children is exhausting. Another aspect of it is you will never know rest as long as there are children or there's a child out there in the world whose health, safety, and well-being that you have to be responsible for. You will never know rest. I have been yanked out of my sleep because I had to make sure that the safety and well-being and care of my children was being performed. I remember when I was with my ex, it was the summertime. So he owns a house in the city still, but in a more in an area that was considered the hood, but turning over and like being a little bit more gentrified now. You know how that process goes in big cities. And I had a long day, so I came home and I just got in the bed at like 6 o'clock. I got off work, just came home and got in the bed, thinking or trusting and believing that the other adult, the other parent in the home was going to, make sure that the children were okay, the house was secure before we turned in for the night. So I'm exhausted, sleeping. And it's the summertime. So in the summer, we will always just leave the door open. You want to get a breeze. And I'm somebody, I love a breeze. I got my door open right now, catching me a little breeze. But I'm in the bed. Eventually he comes and gets in the bed and I'm asleep. But when I feel him get in the bed, again, as a mother, you will never sleep. You will never know a good night's rest. But he comes and gets in the bed and something in my mind questions, is the door locked? But I'm asleep. This is happening in my sleep. I'm asleep. In my mind, I'm like, is the door locked? And something else said, get up. And I'm like, no, I'm so tired. This goes on for at least, I'm arguing with myself for at least another 30 minutes. I'm like, is the door locked? Get up. Is the door locked? Get up. So I'm teetering like right on the edge. And I say to myself, no, there's no way this fully grown adult, knowing that we are responsible for the health and the care and the safety and the well-being of two minor small children. These is when my kids was younger. So my daughter's 16, my son is 8. At this time they 8 years apart. So they had to be like 4, like my son had to be 4 or 5, like not even, my kids is young. So these is young kids that we have to be responsible for. And I say to myself, no, he wouldn't. Big, strong, blue collar man, 6 feet plus, the good man, the nice guy. I said, there's no way he would come and get in the bed and wouldn't make sure that the door is closed. Like, there's no way that he would come and get in the bed and wouldn't make sure the door is closed. So I'm trusting, right? No, he's the man of the house. He secured the house and made sure that the doors was closed and like the kids is good, and all of the things that you do before you retire to your quarters for the evening. But I'm sitting there, I'm laying there, I'm saying to myself, get up and go check the door. No, he got it. So when I finally resigned to go back to sleep, because again, I'm half up, I'm in an, okay. When I decide, okay, I'm going to fall back asleep, something snatched me up out that bed. I jumped out the bed. Get up and go check the door. Y'all, it's at least midnight. Do y'all know the door was open? Not just unlocked. The door was open. Usually, we would like lock the screen door at a certain time. The screen door would get locked. Like, once it hit dark and we still want to breathe, we would at least lock the screen door. The door was wide open. The screen door was not locked. The storm door was open. Just open. I come downstairs in darkness. I come downstairs and I'm looking out of my door. That is what it is like as a woman and as a mother. That is why it is so exhausting. And that is why I don't entertain these conversations or even this back and forth between baby mothers and baby fathers, or men and women and husband and wives. When we talking about, we talking about the mental load in the meal. We don't get no sleep. We cannot rest knowing that there are parts and pieces of ourselves out there in the world that could be in harm's way. So, yeah. So go on and just send your baby mama that little 250, 500, whatever you have to send her a month, because that is what she is contending with each and every day, moment to moment. And not just having her entire being shift, the guilt of not listening to that intuition. Now, I knew to get my ass up out that bed and jump up out that bed when I did, because that something in me said, no, you need to get up. And I knew to listen to that voice, because that's my second child. With my first child, when I didn't listen to that voice, I still feel shame and guilt about that to this day. So I had to learn and cultivate and develop that voice. Learn to trust that voice. So it's not just being pestered by the voice. It is what happens when you do not listen to that voice? What happens to you? What happens to your children when you don't listen to that voice? So it is constant. It is non-stop. And then you'll have a man there trying to put his wee-wee in your mouth.